Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming back one more time. We appreciate you joining in and listening. Hope you've been enjoying our show so far. I'm Pastor Dave. Sitting with me, Randall, the Armorbearer. We are
They That Believe.
We talk about entertainment, news, pop culture, geek news, all filtered. Here we go. We're off to a great start. All filtered through a lens of lifestyle Christianity.
Get stuck on the black ivory coffee last time.
Black ivory coffee. Callback to episode 1. Our pod mics, I haven't told you about this, our pod mics were hijacked recently. I have I guess what, I don't know if I'm going to put it or not, what could be a bonus pod of sorts that I'm hoping to release. Here's what happened. My brother-in-law, Gretchen's brother, came in for a visit and was staying overnight with us, and he is kind of I want to be kind. Well, I have no reason to be unkind, but he's a nice dude. But he's kind of a man-child, you know. He's into a lot of fun stuff as well. But, of course, we have Nathan, my son. Now, they're both Nathan. There's Nathan and Nathan. We call him Big Nathan, Big Nate and Little Nate. And Nathan, my son, is 13, soon to be 14. And they're really peas in a pod. Yeah. So I had this idea, actually the last time he was here, but they didn't get to do it. And I said, oh, these two, I want to hear that pod. You know what I'm saying? I figured we'll get lots of jokes about passing gas and lots of burps on the mic.
Right.
And,
yeah, very popular with the
yes, yeah. That's these two. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm listening to them cut up and play together. I'm like, oh, I want to hear that pod. So I had kind of prompted him before when Nathan, Big Nate, was here before. I said, why don't you guys go sit down? Why don't you guys do a pod? I'll go turn the mics on. And they didn't do it that time. They came back again. I said, why don't you guys do a pod? Now, here's what happened in the meantime. Gretchen pulled a Lucille Ball, let me be in the show, Ricky. And the more we kept talking about
you have to be at least 50 plus to get that reference.
Let me be in the show, Ricky. Lucy always wanted to be in Ricky's stage show. So she's like, why can't I do the pod? Can't girls do the pod? And and I did the whole Mr. Wizard thing, And Randall, why can't Gretchen do a pod? Because she's a girl, Mr. Wizard? That's right, because she's a girl. Anyway, turned the mics on. Eventually she did make her way in here. She's going to sit with them, and I'm like, that. Not that Gretchen is not interesting. I've actually thought coming up in October, toward the end of October, we have an anniversary coming up. So I want to do two things in October. I want you and I to do as cheesy and as cliche as this sound, a spooktacular, right, for Halloween.
Got to,
if I can use that line. And I thought she and I would do a bonus pod, and I think that one would be good. But introducing her into that mix with those two guys is, So okay, so
it's like the school mom.
But what are you gonna do? I'm not gonna tell her no. So I'm like, okay, all right, come on in. And I told them several times before they came in here. I said, look, you need to prepare a little bit. You don't have to write a script. This is obviously loosey-goosey, not rocket science. But, have an idea of some things. You don't want to get stuck and you're going, ooh, what do you want to talk about? And you run out of ideas. Mm. And it gets boring and it lags and stuff. So I told them to prepare. Well, of course they didn't. And they come in here and I told them too. I said, because we right now only have the two mics. I probably need to get another interface that has some more microphone inputs and stuff. But I said, look, you're going to have to sit close to the microphone. Don't be across the room. Okay. I stressed that several times. So I go to listen to this thing, and not only is she sitting in the corner of the room, she's speaking very softly, and her volume immediately went down, and so I don't know. Where am I going with all that? I've spent like the last 2 weeks playing with it and chopping it up, and because they actually, and you'll get to hear it, everybody will get to hear it, I'll put it up. They started pretty strong, and it wasn't too bad right out of the gate, and I'm like, hey, you don't have to be gentle. I said, tell some stories about me. If I'm not in there, go ahead and have fun with it. And they just, I don't know. Big Nate, who's normally a barrel of monkeys, he kind of got very serious, like and Nathan is just random. They would try to talk about one thing, little Nate, and he would jump off into something else and he wants to tell stories about people that you don't know, and me and Steve were doing this and that and he jumps right in the middle, and what? Huh?
I spent the day at the pool with him today, so I get that. I understand.
Yeah, he's random.
Yes,
random is a
good kid.
Is a kind word. Yeah,
random kid.
So yeah, they started strong, just didn't quite prepare, maybe like they should have, and. Anyway, I'll put it up. I'm just going to have to do some editing with it and play around with it a little bit.
Can you make Gretchen sound like the church lady off Saturday Night Live? That would be awesome.
No, I don't have those kind of skills to edit like that. So.
Well, isn't that special?
Yeah, so stay tuned. I'll put that up. I thought I might. I wasn't real sure if we were going to get to do one ourselves this week, so.
I'm getting kind of excited about the Spooktacular one. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, coming in October. So, yeah, because our wedding anniversary is on the 28th. So I want to try to get two in the hopper, and we'll do kind of a +1 with she and I. And I'm just going to say, just stay tuned because that's going to be funny. I'm going to get her in here and really embarrass her.
Uh-oh.
We're going to pretend, it'll be nice and sweet. And
Pastor Dave will be sleeping on the couch.
We're going to get some answers. We're going to get some answers to some questions that have been lingering, like, why does a human being need 4 or 5 towels for one shower? That's one thing I want to get answered. Yeah, we had it. Okay, this last week we had a little problem with the dryer. A piece in the dryer went out. It was one of those small repair things, a little something behind the knob, so the dryer wouldn't stay on or whatever. But we couldn't use the dryer for a week or so. And me, no big deal. Her, she has to have these 4 or 5 towels. I don't want to do this pod now. I should save some of this for later. And not just that, but, one use.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you, but, at least some point in time, we were both single men or bachelors. Well, even as a married man.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me one towel. I can stretch a towel for a week or two. Yeah.
I have 3 girls at home, my 3 daughters.
Oh, well, you know what I'm talking about.
There's nothing worse than walking into the bathroom and seeing like 8 towels on the floor and knowing that, 2 of them just took a shower.
Towels and toilet paper.
Yeah.
Women go through, again, when I was a single man, one of those big packs of toilet paper lasts me a year.
Yeah.
6 months. I just didn't go through that much. Mm-hmm. Women burn through toilet paper like crazy.
Yes.
And they got to buy boxes of tissues on top of that.
Yeah.
See, I never bought tissues, single man.
No.
Big pack of toilet paper lasts me forever.
Or paper towel if you had
Well, now, I did, that is a single, paper towels is a big single man thing. I did use a lot of paper towels. So yeah, we'll do all that in October. When we were talking last week about movie stuff and all the stuff that came out of Comic-Con, I forgot one that is coming up, and I guess coming up this week, maybe within a day or two, if depending on when folks are hearing that. Fantastic Four, a reboot, a reimagining, and what have you seen of that? Have you seen the trailers and all that kind of stuff?
I saw the trailer for it. It looks interesting. I'm not a big Fantastic Four person. I mean, I like the comic book, but they don't translate the movies very well for me.
Well, they haven't yet.
Yeah.
It's been something that has been... I don't want to say that it won't or that it can't, but so far, we've just not been able to. Mm-hmm. We just haven't gotten it completely right. And the earlier movies, folks would know there was... I think the last one was in 2005, and then there was the Silver Surfer sequel after that. And I'm a pretty harsh critic, but man, those are... People were a little too harsh. I don't think those were quite as...
When you get into the Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, those two are really, really fan-based. There's really a lot of different camps on Silver Surfer and the Fantastic Four.
Why do you say that?
Well, because the Silver Surfer, there's several different artists that did the Silver Surfer, and usually when you see somebody, they're either into the first Silver Surfer or
yeah.
So there's different fans for that one. It's hard to get that group to come together on anything.
I understand what you're saying. And there are some that hold their favorites so dear, and it's so important to them that you almost get to a place where nobody can get it right because they'll be so critical of anything.
Yeah.
So here's what's going on with this new one. And we had a good start. The guy that's making this, his name is Josh Trank. Super young guy. He's probably barely in his 30s, if that. He made a movie called Chronicle. He did it for about $12 million.
Is it that Vin Diesel thing?
No. This one is, how to describe it. Well, I'll put it this way. If you've not seen it, Run, Don't Walk, go see Chronicle. You get a copy. List. I have a copy, and I've been telling you for months, before you leave today, I'm going to give you a copy of Chronicle to go watch. It's about these 3 high school kids. One's kind of a bullied misfit. The other kind of a good-hearted academic. The other an ambitious, I want to be student council president, and I'm a star football player. And they form an unlikely bond, unlikely friendship. They find this hole in the ground, like a cave in the woods, and it's got some irradiated, glowing alien thing. They touch it and then find themselves imbued with these telekinetic powers, and you see a progression of them learning to harness their powers. Now, what happens is, what would happen with most of us, eventually it gets to a place where they start to take it too far. Mm-hmm. It becomes that cliche about great power, great responsibility. Mm-hmm. This shows what happens when you give these the young people with different personalities, and kind of how it affects them and how it affects their group. And it feels very authentic, even in the middle of all the fantasy and, when them flying and doing stuff with their mind. They actually start off doing like pranks and stuff. Mm-hmm. They go in the stores and telekinetically make stuff fall over. And
the typical kid stuff.
They using the power of their mind will move somebody's car from one spot in the parking lot to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But again, when personality and your own motivations kick in, things start to change and they turn on each other, and on and on. Anyway, great film, done on a very limited budget. It looks like a much bigger movie than it is. When you see now that I've described it to you and told you how much they made it on, and this young up-and-comer made this film, when you see the third act, you won't believe that they did it for $12 million. It's unbelievable. So this is the guy, Josh Trank. This is the guy that when Chronicle came out, it was like the day of or day after, they pretty much handed him the keys to Fantastic Four. And that seems like a great choice to me. Given everything I've said about the other film, there's nothing about this guy that gives me a problem. And then this movie just seems troubled, though. Now I'm cautiously, I don't even know if I can say optimistic. I'm pessimistic. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bode well when you can tell, you get hints that the folks behind the project may not be excited about it. They're screening it for critics one day before it comes out. Yeah, they've been guarded about the information and stuff, because once folks caught wind of some of the early images and some of the stuff, and basically what it is, it comes back to this idea of not being true to the characters. Mm-hmm. That's not their story, and they don't look right, and all that. Now, for me, as far as the core group goes, the four, I'm okay. Their story will be different from what you've seen in the previous movies from 10 years ago. Those were the original story as conceived, and Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. They went in. It was very science fiction. It's always science fiction. Mm-hmm. They go into outer space and something goes wrong. Everybody has at least seen that movie if you don't know the books. Now, a few years ago, when they reboot the books just like they reboot the movies. They did the Ultimate Universe, which was all your favorite Marvel heroes just in a different universe. I think I mentioned that earlier about these alternate universes. Their origin story a little different, and it's what we're going to see in this film, where a child, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, is playing around with teleporting things through different dimensions, and is working in and out of something they call the end zone, the negative zone. And his buddy is Ben Grimm, and I think later he befriends the guy who will become Dr. Doom. I like Fantastic Four. It is among my favorites, not like at the top of the list, somewhere down in the middle. However, Doctor Doom is my guy. Love Doctor Doom. And he has just been one of those constant, consistent players throughout the entire Marvel universe. His personality and his motivation, and he seeks to do things because he believes himself to be simply that, above everybody.
Weirdly enough, Pastor Dave is wearing a Dr. Doom t-shirt right now.
I got Dr. Doom on my shirt. And that concerns me more than anything, that they're not going, that I don't like what I see of Dr. Doom. I don't like what they're doing with, they've changed him into some kind of computer hacker or something strange. That's what the early buzz is. I don't know. Maybe it won't look like that, but I'm like, this is not the guy. And it's one of the things they didn't get right with the other movies either. You know, I like Julian McMahon, but he wasn't Doom. He didn't pull it off. He didn't.
No.
Doom is just a special kind of dude. And again, you're reading the books throughout the entire Marvel universe. He's just one of those guys that can pop up at any time and just turn everything in a different direction. And like in Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars series, the Beyonder, who is basically like God, snatches up all our heroes, puts them on a patchwork planet, and they kind of fight with each other and stuff. And they're like, how do we defeat this guy? He's basically God. Well, Doom actually just jumps up front and goes out and takes him on, and actually in one battle at least whips him. He's just that kind of cat. He's like, because I am Doom. He thinks that he's the guy.
Yeah.
Who is this? How dare you? So we'll see. I'm sure I'll have plenty to say about it once we get a chance to look at it in a review. And
are you going to the theater to see it, or are you waiting?
Yeah, no. When I get to, I'm a friend of mine who manages a movie theater. Every time I come in, she's already, oh, you coming back for this? You coming back for that? Ant-Man's next week. She knows what I'm liking, and I keep telling her, I'm like, well, I'll try to do the best I can, but we keep sharing a laugh because I'm like, now 2016 comes next year, you're going to see a lot of me. We're going to have a whole lot of good stuff going on. It's going to be a good year to be in the movie business, I guess. So that's probably more than folks wanted to know about that. Well, that's how they get their powers in this story. There's a complication with the interdimensional teleportation travel thing, and so if you watch it and go, well, that's not their story, that's not what happened. Well, it is. It's one of their stories.
Yeah.
Kind of like when we talked last week, or the last time we were here, about them changing, Nick Fury and stuff like that. So it does exist in these different alternate universes. But yeah, I'm concerned about my boy Doom. Now check this out. I came across this, and I keep saying this is all fantasy, but it seems as we move a little further along, this stuff becomes dangerously close. Even the science fiction stuff, it seems to me to become dangerously close to reality.
Oh, yeah.
The science in the comic books that was one time very fantastical is, at times, it seems like this kind of stuff could happen every day.
Right.
Do you know who Michio Kaku is? Have you ever heard that name?
I've never heard that name before.
Okay. He's a theoretical physicist.
Okay.
And
with a name like that, it had to be good.
Right. I was already kind of familiar with him because he used to appear pretty frequently on a radio show, the Coast to Coast, George Norrie and Art Bell.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? They talk about like conspiracy theories and aliens. Live from the Kingdom of Nye, that whole thing, and so he was always guesting on that. So super smart dude. Now Kaku is now 68 as of present day. He's popularized like string field theory and a lot of stuff that's probably over our heads. But I found this story and I'm like, this guy came within a millimeter of becoming Mr. Fantastic. I'm serious. Okay, listen to this. For a high school science fair project, 17-year-old Michio Kaku, so this was 50 years ago.
Right.
For perspective,
1965, somewhere in the middle.
Michio Kaku built a particle accelerator in his parents' garage that was able to generate a magnetic field 20,000 times greater than the Earth's and produce collisions powerful enough to create antimatter. Now listen, when you see the opening, because I've read the book, I've read the comic, and I've seen enough of the trailer to know that it's true to the comic. When you see the opening and the origin of this movie, that's what this looks like. This is what Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, was doing in his own garage. He says, this is Kaku, when I was in high school, I did 2 experiments. One was to create antimatter and photograph antimatter when I was about 16 years old. The next year, I wanted to make my own source of antimatter. I just want to make my own, do it yourself, right? DIY, those are popular now.
Yeah.
So I decided to build a 2.3 million electron volt Betatron particle accelerator. So the determined teenager scavenged parts from local electronics warehouses. It's just like a movie. You can see him going through dumpsters at Radio Shack. And, I can use this and a piece of an old cell phone.
You have to have the crotchety dad going, would you quit messing with that junk out in the garage?
What are you doing out there? You're always playing with your things and your gadgets.
Go play some football. Get out in the street and play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the determined teenager scavenged parts from local electronics warehouses and put his parents to work helping him. They wound 22 miles of wire into coils capable of producing, check this out, producing magnetic fields so strong they would rip the fillings out of your teeth if you got too close. He did this in the garage. This cat came, I'm telling you, within a millimeter of being Mr. Fantastic, and he still may. Tell me this stuff isn't real. I could not believe that. And to have done it 50 years ago? I'm telling you, when you see this movie, when you see the opening, that looks like this. That's exactly what this guy was doing, and he was doing it for real as a kid.
Can you imagine that science fair where everybody's like, the kids got the exploding volcano?
That's my volcano. My diorama of the Civil War.
Yeah.
What did you do? I built the particle accelerator.
This is my particle accelerator. Here's this picture of antimatter I took.
I'm just going to give up now.
If he didn't win first place, that thing was rigged.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, interesting dude. Interesting, and it's both at the same time encouraging and discouraging, because you see that this kind of stuff can happen, and perhaps it is possible, but yet, if somebody got that close and it didn't happen, it's kind of like, how close am I ever going to get?
Right.
Like, not at all. I'm not around any laboratories ever. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to fall into the vat of toxic waste. And
yeah, because, if there was one nearby or something, I'm just that kind of, I'm just foolish enough to, want to go hang out there just in case something might blow up.
You guys doing any particle research here?
I'm just going to hang out in the lobby drinking coffee.
What's it take to get a security clearance to get into the building?
Could you guys irradiate me with something so I could have superpowers? Unbelievable that this guy got so close. So anyway, we'll see. Fantastic Four, and I'll have a review, I'm sure. Mm. So, all right, let me shift gears. Let's probably spend way too much time on that. I hope you don't think I'm being mean or bullying you or anything, but
I'm used to it.
You don't have a lot of hair on your head.
No, there's very little.
When did your hair start falling out? I'm assuming it fell out.
Well, I always tell my kids that I had hair before they were born, but big mystery. I was starting to lose my hair when I got out of high school.
Yeah. So, okay. I knew some people like that too. I remember some teenager friend of mine who were losing hair that early. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I grew long hair out one time when I was a kid, and it grew out like a fro. Like it just...
my hair's like that because it's real thick.
Yeah.
My hair's real thick. I could never, when I tried, didn't do well.
So I look like Bozo because I was thin on top. And,
I have real thick hair. Okay. North Korea. Mm-hmm. My friends in North Korea. I'm going to tie your bald head into North Korea. Our favorite friend over there, Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, that sexy beast that he is. Do you know that they have state-sanctioned haircuts there?
Yes, I heard that.
You got me.
Yeah.
Okay. There are 28. Women are allowed to choose one of 14 styles. Married women are instructed to keep their tresses short. Mm-hmm. While single ladies, all the single ladies, you can let your hair grow longer. I don't know what the logic is behind that.
When you're cooking, you don't want the hair to get into the stove. You know. Once you're married, you got to do all the domestic stuff.
Well, that's sexist.
Well, so it's making people get a haircut.
I didn't say that. So send your cards and letters.
That's right.
Not to me. Yeah, okay. So the single ladies can have longer, curlier locks. Now, men generally prohibited from growing their hair longer than 2 inches. Not that I'm a communist or anything, but I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah, I'm cool.
I like to keep my hair short, and I wish most other people would too. However, older men can get away with up to 3 inches. It's the opposite of what we're doing with the women. The married women, right? You know, keep their hair shorter, and yeah, don't turn off your cell phone or anything while we're doing the podcast.
Sorry.
It's just live microphones. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. Okay, so the married women are supposed to keep their hair shorter. Single ladies allowed longer hair. Men prohibited from growing their hair longer than 2 inches unless it's older men. So if you're older, it doesn't say married, but if you're older man, you can grow it up to 3 inches, a full 3 inches. The list falls short, though, of including its young leader, Kim Jong-un's current look, a variation of the high and tight that may be too much of a power do for North Koreans' elite. So it's like, here's all the state-approved haircuts and hairstyles, but you can't have one that looks like great leader.
Have you read his bio, that like the state-sponsored bio of him?
No.
It is hilarious. It's just the craziest thing ever, talking about how he was born, and I mean, like the most dramatic way.
They make up a whole lot of fantasy stories about him. And
did you also hear that the North Koreans have a Twitter account they can get onto, like a state-sponsored Twitter account? And he put out there a few years ago that North Korea had won the soccer championship, the World Soccer Championship.
You say one, like anybody in Korea can use? No, you just mean it's the state tweets state business on it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but he had put on there that the North Koreans had won the World FIFA Championship or whatever, and nobody would.
Which they did not.
No.
In 2005, they actually aired a TV show. It was a 5-part series on haircut guidelines for today's modern socialist lifestyle.
But that was prime time.
I feel so bad for these people. This was just stuff I found on Time Magazine's website, time.com, and the comments underneath, I thought it was an interesting piece of journalism. I wanted to read about the state-sanctioned haircuts, but you know how stupid people are, and everybody's so nasty on the internet. They were like, with all the human rights violations and atrocities that are actually happening in North Korea, and you're writing an article about their hairstyles, and I'm like, well, we didn't forget any of that. Mm-mm. You know, we can take a page or two just to talk about this. I wish I could show you guys. If you want to see them, you can go to Time Magazine. I guess type in North Korea haircuts, and it'll come up, and you can actually look. You can look at the hairstyles. You know what got me, though, was a lot of them didn't look dramatically
No, they
different.
look like the same haircut, just
sorta. I don't know. I'd had this idea, and I'd mentioned it, although I haven't fleshed it out here. I mentioned it in an early one, maybe one of our first episodes. I wanted to do like a Dear Abby kind of mailbag, maybe, but nobody's sending us emails anyway. I didn't get any more. We're still stuck at like 98 likes, and I had to beg for like the 98th one. So, we'll just keep doing what we're doing until this catches on and it's popular around the globe. But yeah, if you want to do that, if you're listening, of course that means that'll be from your mom.
Yeah, of course. Hi, Mom.
Yeah. We have one regular listener.
Yeah.
But if you want to do that, email us, and we'll. If you want advice, I don't know what we'll call it, dear something or
another. Would you take advice from us?
Yeah,
you would.
Well, you don't have to take it.
Oh,
we put a disclaimer on it.
Yeah.
You know, this is for entertainment
this
purposes.
This ruins your life. Don't come back.
Right. Yeah. This is for entertainment purposes only. You know, we can't be sued for it. So I saw this one in Dear Abby and just thought this was ridiculous. So I'm going to give it to you. and I'll let you run with it. You can play Dear Abby for today.
Sweet.
So I'll be the petitioner, and I'll petition you for advice here with my letter, and you can play Dear Abby, and you can respond. So here we go. You ready?
I'm good.
Dear Abby Randall, my dog has been invited to a birthday party for another dog.
What?
But he won't be attending because of a health issue. Can you give me some insight into what the protocol is for doggy birthday party gifts? I have asked a few people and received varied responses ranging from nothing to are you nuts to a gift card, dollar store gift basket, or a gift basket with doggy treats and toys. I'd like to know how to handle this so my friend, the dog's mom, won't be offended if I give too little or nothing. And go.
Is she nuts? Is that actually a thing? Do they have dog birthday parties?
That's what I said. Doggy birthday parties.
My parents, my mom, they have this dog, Frito, which is the coolest dog we've ever had. Like when I was a kid, we had these little bitty dogs that were horrible. But this dog is really neat. And now they'll go out and get him like a birthday cake every year, but I don't think they invite other dogs over to his birthday party.
Yeah, I mean, we spoil ours with all kinds of stuff, and we have little ones that are just like children. I'd never heard of this. And the fact that somebody would be stressing over it to the point of, how do I not make my friend mad or get an angry glare because I didn't send a thank you card? You know, all that good gift. Listen to this, though. Here's what Abby said. And she's earnest. She's earnest with it. She treats it like this is a thing. She says, and this, I love this first line. If you or your dog cannot attend a gift-giving party, neither of you is obligated to send a gift. Let me read that line for you again. Get your mind around this. If you or your dog cannot attend a gift-giving party, neither of you is obligated to send a gift. What I love about this sentence is written within it, it presupposes that there's a scenario in which the dog may attend by himself and may send a gift by himself because you cannot attend or your dog cannot attend.
By himself.
Neither of you is obligated to send a gift. Right? So she lets the dog off the hook.
Yeah.
She lets the dog off the hook. And, you would think he would be completely dependent on the owner.
I'm sure he's grateful for that too.
Yes. How he's got the Dear Abby column on the floor.
Yes. He didn't pee on that part.
He did. That's right. He left that part uncorrupted.
That is the ultimate compliment from a dog if you do not pee on that part of the newspaper.
Thank you, Abby. Okay. However, Abby goes on to say, if you do want to be supportive, you can give your friend's dog something as elaborate as a gift basket or as simple as a doggy chew toy. P.S., she says, someone who would deem your gift to be, quote-unquote, too little isn't much of a friend. So, that's probably the answer I would have given. I mean, it's strange to me, though. Maybe they do these by email now. I had it in my mind that people sit down and write letters, and are really... I wonder how many, letters are just trolling. I wonder sometimes.
Let's see if we can get this in the newspaper.
Like if you and I were going to, we should do that.
Yeah.
We should make up a Dear Abby and mail it and see.
Oh.
You could go to work on that.
Yeah.
Go to work on that. It's like doing the, what'd you do, your grocery store game. We do it by mail.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. They probably take them by email now or something like that.
Probably. Is she even still alive?
No. It's been it was, I guess it was Abigail Van Buren. Was that the original one?
Right, yeah.
And I can't remember the other lady's name.
Wasn't it sister
it went to her sister,
yeah.
and then went to the daughter. So it's been through 3 or 4 of them. They're all family.
I'm having the most hilarious image of what Martha Stewart would do with a doggy gift basket in my head right now. How elaborate the doggy gift basket would be if Martha Stewart made it.
I'm sure that's a TV show. There's TV shows for how to cook and make everything else. So
on DIY Network, Martha Stewart makes a dog treat basket.
This week on Dog Crafts, how to make a lovely basket to be a smash hit at your next doggy birthday party. All right. So okay, I have a story for you.
Okay.
You like fast food?
Love fast food.
I do too. We shouldn't, but I do. it's technically food. Okay. Fast food employee. Guy works at the fast food restaurant. Yeah, Wendy's. He worked at Wendy's. I like Wendy's.
I love Wendy's.
22 years old. He was charged with stealing from a safe at the Wendy's restaurant where he worked.
Ooh. Did he steal the recipe to the secret sauce?
He stole some money. He stole some cabbage, not the lettuce. The restaurant manager found him and another employee taking money around 1:30 in the morning. They were detained until police arrived. He's charged with theft and all that stuff for robbing the place where he works, Wendy's. I'm going to give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. What do you think this man's name might be?
Oh. Ronald McDonald.
Ronald McDonald.
Oh my gosh.
Ronald McDonald.
Stealing
robbed
from the Wendy's.
Wendy. That
was the other one Harlan Sanders? Because that would have been...
No, the other guy. See, he didn't. He got at the bottom of the story.
No.
Steve LeMay was this guy's name. Ronald McDonald robbed the Wendy's.
Could you imagine the manager hiring that guy when he comes in and says his name's Ronald McDonald?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to, yeah.
And when you give him his name tag, you got to put his whole name on it.
For real, yeah. You can't make it big letters.
Yep. You have to. Here's the thing, though. He's been carrying that name his whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, before he walked into Wendy's.
Right.
He's Ronald McDonald. Now that kind of made me sad.
He's 22?
Yeah.
So
he was at the
parents,
time. Now this was a few years ago.
So his parents knew
Yeah.
His parents knew
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your last name's McDonald, you do not name your kid Ronald.
This was 2005. He was 22, so that would make
83.
him 82, 83 in that.
Yeah.
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 He would be a little younger than us.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Why would you? That's like setting him up to rob a Wendy's one day.
Now I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
I was sitting here all ready to laugh at him, and bury him under the jail and all that, and I'm like, well, what other course could you take in life?
Right.
This is not a guy building a particle accelerator in his garage.
No. Because we know they have much more interesting names.
He's already worked, and to add to the shame, not only do his parents name him Ronald McDonald, and he has to carry that for life, to add now, what we thought was funny now, to add to the shame, the best job he can come up with is working at Wendy's.
At 22.
Okay, I kind of feel bad for the guy now. I'm sorry I laughed at him.
We're sorry, Ronald.
Yeah, well, it's been 10 years. Hopefully he
goes by Ron.
He's moved on with his life. Or has a middle name or something.
I would change it.
You would think. Maybe he did change it. Now maybe he's one of those kind of cats.
Oh, yeah, he's one of those, though.
Maybe, his mother and father named him Gartanian or something, and he said, it's been my dream since I've been a little boy. I want to be Ronald McDonald.
Since my first Happy Meal, I've been wanting to be Ronald McDonald.
I was always Ronald McDonald trapped in Gartanian's body. I don't think I'm supposed to make those kind of jokes anymore, but okay. Talking about theft, you get a kick out of this. Same thing. 3 guesses, the first 2 don't count. What do you think is the most shoplifted book in the entire world?
I know this one because I use it every year when I talk to the kids.
Oh, okay. It's a lesson?
It's a lesson. The Bible is the most shoplifted book in the world.
The Holy Bible, the Word of God. Shoplifted.
I wonder if they count the ones you take out of like the hotel or whatever. Like the Gideon's list.
No, I wouldn't think so. Actually, I would think that if it were me, I mean, I'm not just schooled up on Gideons and stuff, but they do that at no cost, and they're not making a profit selling Bibles. So I would, if I'm in the Gideons, running the Gideons, I'm thinking that's kind of a sign of success if people are taking them. Wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In that instance, now, of course, if I'm running the Lifeway Christian Bookstore,
and
I got $50, $60, Holman study Bibles on the rack that start disappearing, probably not very happy about that. But interesting. People print and publish the Bible, and I guess those companies make profit off of it.
Do you think they would prosecute you if you got caught stealing from a Christian bookstore?
Yeah.
You think so?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I'm thinking the Christian thing to do would probably be to turn the other cheek, and I don't know. I just don't. if somebody's stealing a Bible, I would just give it to them. I mean, if it was a Bible. But
that's interesting because we've talked about this because I keep them on hand. I've got some here in the office, and these things are great. A friend of mine turned me on to these life reference manuals.
Oh yeah,
which have not only some Bible stuff in them, but some other life applications.
Yeah, collectible Bibles.
Those are great to hand out to folks and stuff like that. So yeah, I give them away, but to walk into a place of business where people offer them and to steal them, well, maybe that is it necessary. Why would it be when you could think you could get them so many places? Why would you even think you would have to steal one? Unless it's like some of those, man.
Oh yeah, some of those are expensive.
You get the leather bound, gold embossed, and
the Scofield Reference Bibles. They can get up there.
They get real expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I tell you. Okay, here's what I would expect if I went down to Lifeway, or we have a local Christian bookstore.
There's the Lighthouse in Union City.
Okay, I keep saying Lifeway. I'd look, if we can mention somebody that's close by. Don't go steal from them though.
Yeah, please.
Please. If I walked into the Lighthouse, if I walked in there and started loading my pockets up and tried to make it out the door, I would expect a problem. I mean, I wouldn't, look around and have them go, wink and wave their hand. It's okay. Go ahead. We got it. I don't think that's going to happen. Do you think they should?
Well, I don't know.
You're not making that case.
No, I'm just thinking that if I were to walk into a Christian bookstore and say, hey, I want a Bible, or I need a Bible, I would think they would give it to you. So I'm just wondering.
We're talking about stealing them. Now you've asked for a gift.
I'm just wondering why you would steal one when you could be given one.
Or maybe you and I are naive. Maybe they're not as available as we think they are. I would think they are. But
you wonder too, in some other countries, maybe there's a stigma involved in buying a Bible. Like a Holy Bible, maybe.
That's true. This is in the world. It doesn't necessarily say America. The most shoplifted book in the world.
So, like if you were over in Iran or something like that, and I don't know if they'd have a Bible on the bookshelf.
Well, they wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't think they'd have them if it was that. If the climate was that bad that you couldn't go into a store and buy one because they don't allow it or they're hard to find. You wouldn't think they'd be there to steal in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference on translations or a particular study Bible, or what do you like?
I really don't.
You're like me. You probably got several, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your go-to?
I try every year to try a different version. I try to read the Bible through in a year.
Yeah.
So I try every year to do a different version. Currently, I'm on the Revised Standard Version, which came out in like the 50s. Mm-hmm. And I really like it. I like the wording in it, and I like the way it goes. Of course, you got to do the King James Version one time just to see. And once you're in it, like once you start reading it through and you're in it every day, it's not that hard to understand. I mean, if you're going back and forth to it once a month, then it's hard to read. But once you're in it all the time.
Yeah, I'm not personally a King James only guy, but King James has to be in your toolbox.
Oh yeah,
it has to be. It's even if you're not a King James only person, you can't deny the importance.
Right.
The significance of the volume. I asked because, and I'm a Holman guy. I love Holman Bible. That's one that just resonates with me.
It flows easy too.
It resonates with me. I like to study in it, preach from it, and I get it when I read it. I do like the academic work that went into it. When you read the history on some of them.
I deal with a lot of kids too, so whatever the easiest to get across to them, as long as you know what it's trying to say, and because you're supposed to interpret that to the kids, when you're dealing with them. Mm-hmm. So as long as you know what you're saying, you can say it however you want to them, as long as it gets the point across. It
becomes a form over function thing. You can formally translate something and be very direct with this word translates to this word, or you can be dynamic in that, because if you just are directly translating, then you get into syntax and grammar and things that don't, the nuances of language that, it's not all languages are structured the same. Mm-hmm. But then some can be a little too dynamic and you lose the actual text.
Well, I read Greek and I can translate some Greek. And when you go into translating it, it it is different. You can come up with different words for the same thing, angry, and so you have to have a little bit of common sense about what's supposed to be there. So I don't know if any translation is going to be 100%.
So how long have you been waiting since we've started doing this for that opportunity to go, I read Greek?
It comes up in conversation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got it. I got it. I read Greek. Here, and this is what started me down this whole road about Bible, I guess, translations. Do you read Klingon?
Ooh, no, I've never read Klingon.
The Bible has been translated in Klingon. Did you know that?
I remember this, I forget if it was in the Next Generation show or one of the movies, but I remember the Klingons were on the Enterprise, and they're talking about Shakespeare, and the Klingon's like, have you ever heard it translated into the original Klingon? And it's like, I don't think it was in Klingon originally.
Even 300 years in the future,
yeah.
in outer space, people are still having the same disagreements and the same pious arguments with each other, even in this case over Shakespeare. I hate to share something that I just directly heard from another podcast, but I was listening into a conversation this week, and I heard what it really wasn't a pitch. It started like as a conversation, like we have these conversations. One idea led to another, and I heard an idea for what would be the greatest movie of all time of ever. And
Forrest Gump 2.
No. If someone does not make this movie, and the guy that I heard talking about it is a movie director who made a movie off a goofy conversation he had in the podcast. That's neither here nor there. Okay, we talked last time we were here about San Diego Comic-Con. Okay. Around the time that the San Diego Con was going on this year, the theater shooter guy that killed all the people at the Batman movie was on trial, and his verdict came in while that was going on. Well, these guys were commenting, and many people comment, that how unusual it is, fortunately, to get 150,000 people crammed in to the event that is San Diego Comic-Con, and they never, in their history, in their 10, 12-year history, have never had so much as a fist fight. Nothing. People just don't have problems there. There was one incident where somebody was in somebody else's seat and somebody poked him with a pencil or something. I don't even think it really qualified as a stabbing, but it's like
nerd stabbing.
Nerd stabbing. Geek Comic-Con stabbing.
Yeah.
And there has been one fatality. It was a girl crossing the street, got hit by a car. That's it. Okay? So here was what I heard suggested. This is just kind of a contextual thing. I don't think this is the reason, but it plays into. San Diego is a big military town, right? They have Navy SEALs trained there, and who is the Top Gun pilots? So there's that kind of thing happening there in that area, right? So the idea was, well, that just creates a safer atmosphere, or no hijinks and stuff like that. And somebody even said that you can look out the back of the convention center where the Comic-Con is, and there's a battleship, that some sort of not
it's definitely a military town if you go through it.
Yeah. So they immediately went to like kicking around ideas for a movie, and they were like, okay, so we've got a guy, and he did his tour in the Navy, and now he's retired and runs a comic book shop. And he comes and opens up a booth at the Comic-Con, and the terrorists come. Right? It's just like Die Hard at Comic-Con.
It's got to be Steven Seagal.
I don't know if he's got I can't see him with the levity to... I love Seagal. I love Seagal. I had an opportunity to go train with him, and I did not, and I regret it to this day. I'll tell you about that on another day. So they're sitting there having the conversation. Well, that evolved into this. No, wait a minute. He's not there at a booth selling comics. He's in costume. He's cosplay when the terrorists come and he has to fight them. So the next question is, well, who is he dressed as? Batman.
Have to be Batman.
There you go. That's the Batman movie. That's the Batman you haven't seen yet. The Batman movie. So again, you've got this diehard at the come out to the Comic-Con. We'll get together, have a few laughs, right? The ex-Navy SEAL dressed like Batman. The terrorists come. He fights them off and saves the day dressed as Batman. They took it to the next step. No, there's 4 of them. They're buddies. All right.
Okay.
So, Navy SEAL buddies. Who do we partner with? The guy dressed as Batman. What do we dress him as? Captain America. Are you losing your mind yet? Are you losing your mind? This movie writes itself.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
And that's how you make those worlds meet. That's how you cross them over, right? Conversation continues. Okay, well, we got to have some more. They were talking about, well, some diversity. We should have maybe a woman, right? Well, who's obvious? Well, you know, I want to do Wonder Woman. Then you've got 2 DC. You got Superman and Wonder Woman, or not Batman and Wonder Woman. How about this? Katniss from Hunger Games.
She had the bow and arrow and everything.
This writes itself.
Yes.
And you go a little further, Boba Fett. So you've got the ex-Marines, the ex-Navy, the Navy SEALs, the super soldiers coming to Comic-Con. They've done their time. They just want to have normal life again. And the terrorists come. And you've got one dressed like Batman, one Captain America, one Hunger Games, and Boba Fett. Tell me, you would not cut off a limb to see that movie.
That is an awesome movie. That sounds amazing.
And I take no credit for it. This was just a conversation I listened in on. And it happened just like that on the fly. I even had to play it for Gretchen. I was like, listen to this. This is the most amazing thing of ever. And here's the thing. Everyone you know will go see that movie.
It crosses so many generations.
It hits everybody.
Can you see the guy? Like I visualize things a lot, but I can see this guy. And his friends are like, come on to Comic-Con. He's like, no, I'm a bunch of nerds. I'm not going to Comic-Con. Come on to Comic-Con.
Fish out of water. Okay.
Yeah, you can dress up. You got to dress up. You come to Comic-Con. I'm not dressing up.
He feels foolish.
Yeah, I'm not dressing up. And they're like, come to the costume store. We'll find something. And they're like, hours later, he's like, he sees Batman over the corner. He's like, yeah, I could probably be Batman.
It feels right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then by the second act, right, he becomes to embrace it.
Yeah, he's embracing his Batman.
When he becomes under crisis, he feels like empowered. All of a sudden, not only is he in his element and it's familiar to be the hero, he's empowered and gets a little extra
San Diego
boost from. Yeah, can you see him or solemnly looking down, holding Cap's shield, going, "Yeah, I was meant for this." Yeah. Oh, that movie writes itself because the superhero comic book crowd, obviously, they're going to see it. You know, the diehard American Sniper crowd, they're going to go see it.
Right.
The Hunger Games crowd, Star Wars, all that. It just, who would not want to go see this movie?
Sacha Baron Cohen had to be a terrorist.
Well, I love that guy. I love that guy. But here's my thing. I thought this could easily, as whimsical, because this is all whimsy, man. As whimsical as that concept is, it could then very easily be turned into like an Adam Sandler movie,
right?
You know, then it's
not one of the good Sandler movies, but
no, you know, what do you mean I'm Batman? Oh, and then it's just, I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be serious. It obviously has a little bit of it could happen to you kind of thing, but. Yeah, the more I thought about it, I'm like, it would be so easy for some moron studio head to turn this into like a wacky comedy, and I don't make them look silly in their costumes, and I don't know about that. So, well, maybe between now and then, I hadn't thought about this until now. I just wanted to tell you about it because I'm still excited. I'm getting excited sitting here. Somebody please make this movie. Well, think about who we might want to cast.
Yeah.
That'd be great to, who you got to have, those four people.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Michael Keaton could be Batman again.
He's a little old now. Well, and he's already kind of done that with Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of riffed or spoofed on himself as the former hero. I think that something about that would seem a little redundant. Maybe not. Maybe not. You need a good tough guy, but maybe not the obvious ones. I don't think you need the big action hero. Well, it's got to be somebody that's soldier-like that you can buy as the. Nah,
you don't really like that.
Nah, and you would want it to be not those guys. They are a little long in the tooth.
Mm-hmm.
Your Brad Willis. Bruce Willis. Brad Willis was a guitar player for Night Ranger. Where did that come from? And I said I was sitting there giving Nathan a hard time about being random. Oh my goodness! Oh, I want to see that movie so bad. Somebody, all you big famous movie directors out there that are listening, please
crowdfund it or something.
Well, see, the problem is now though they can't do that because if somebody made this movie other than the guy who sat there and came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't me. Again, I heard somebody else talking about the guy who talking about was a movie director. Because now, hypothetically, if you're, who's a famous movie director? Josh Trank, Chronicler, right? He heard it, and he's like, I'm going to go make that movie. Well, he'd get sued in a heartbeat. Because all we'd have to do is go back and play. So I don't know. At this point, I guess it becomes the intellectual property of that person. He could sell it.
Mm-hmm.
He could sell it. Because I tell you what, man, if I was a movie director, I'd be at that dude's door right now.
Yeah.
If you're not going to make this movie, I'm going to.
Right.
How much do you want for it?
Do you want to, talk about it? Do you want to...
Everything's negotiable. If you're not going to make it, I'm going to make it. Somebody's going to make it. He could sell it. Yeah, you sell the idea. All right, we ran long today. I shouldn't spend too much time talking about Fantastic Four, a movie that I'm already bound to determine that I'm not going to like.
But you're going to see anyway.
Yeah, and I'm going to spend a half hour talking about it. Right. Why I don't think I'm going to like it. I hope I like it. But, support them. The more we support them, we get more of
it's not as bad as I hope it is.
I hope it's not as bad as I hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, for the three folks that are listening, if you want to contact us, send us your questions, comments. We'll do Dear Abby and think up something clever to call it. If you got a dog party coming up and you need to know what to buy, I guess we've already taken care of that question. So.
Have Martha Stewart make a basket.
For Martha Stewart, yeah. Well, we should make that show.
Yeah.
We could have that TV show. We could do, all these other networks got all these other shows. They could put us in between, Rachel Ray and the brothers that flip houses, and we'll be making
Guy Fieri. You have to have Guy Fieri on it.
Yeah, the guy that's always on my TV.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody watches his show, but everywhere I go, he's on TV.
He's good background noise.
Yeah. Well, he's got a good energy to him. I like him. He's excited by everything.
Yeah,
everything's great to him.
Right, Flavor Town.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, it's great. I love it. He doesn't dislike anything. Well, someday somebody's going to give him something. He's going to go, that's the most awful thing I've ever tasted in my entire life.
I was talking about it with somebody the other day. I was like, what would happen if they gave him something that was just horrible and he was on camera? He'd probably just eat it anyway. Like, it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. So send us some emails. We'll try to offer advice if we can, and stay tuned for the bonus pod. Maybe I'll try to get it up in the coming week. You can hear my family struggle to do this, struggle to have a conversation, and look forward to October. That's gonna be great. We'll do an anniversary pod. Gretchen and I'll do one, and then Randall and I will do the TTB Spooktacular.
Spooktacular.
I hate to even use that because it's so overused.
Sounds like The Simpsons, doesn't it?
But it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's so overused. All right. Well, we'll sign off for now. I'm Pastor Dave. Randall the Armorbearer with me. We are
They That Believe.